Put that coffee down. Coffee's for closers only.
Oh, have I got your attention now?
What's up?
Yo, what's good?
Good morning. How are we? I was just laughing at you, Dave. I was getting ready.
I was just thinking, man, I'm just so happy and grateful to be in real estate and to have this time to get to hang out with you two guys for an hour. Like, man, real estate has just done me so well. And it's nice to be able to give back and help other people also, you know, achieve financial freedom with real estate. I'm on cloud nine, guys.
That's awesome.
Stop smiling.
Love
That's really cool. Yeah, no, definitely. It does provide a lot of freedoms. You know, the reality is as an entrepreneur, you know, just to say it out loud, we probably at times work harder than you'd ever work with a real job.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
But it's being able to make those choices of, well, I don't want to work today, or I want to go to Disneyland, I want to go camping, or I want to go get on a boat. Like, and we have that ability to do that, and that's where the magic happens, right? We're going to put in more hours. We're going to roll up our sleeves and work late nights. We're probably going to have more stress than a 9 to 5. But then we can go hang out with friends and go to Mexico. Like you guys are, I'm not going to be in Tulum, but you guys are going to Tulum in February, right? So
you're not going?
I'm not going. My daughter's birthday is the 2nd of February, and that's the arrival day. And I made a commitment to myself as a parent, which is part of my
dude, I get that.
my freedom. Yeah, I'm not missing a kid's birthday, right? And that's no job is going to make me do that. That's part of the freedom, right?
Yeah, no, that's really good,
yeah.
and that's a tough one
that's
for
part
you.
of the freedom.
Yeah.
I love that.
You're always on my team sheet. You're the first on.
Yeah.
That's good though. Good for you. Good
Yeah.
for you.
I guess I gotta slide in, so I'm more uniform.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I like our other view. I feel now that I can't lean forward.
Okay, let's change that. All right, there we go. Now I
I
can
feel like
be
I'm
forward.
sitting in the other room.
There it is.
All right.
Awesome.
So what's cooking, guys? Coffee with closers. Let's talk about something that we've closed recently. You guys got any big deals in the pipeline? Anything cooking?
I just refied yesterday. It got recorded on a house that I bought in Phoenix. I told you I bought the house in Phoenix, and then we took it down cash.
Oh yeah, you guys bought it private money, cash. I love it.
We refinanced in 30 days.
That is record timing.
So I'm happy. Yeah,
that is really good.
We thought it was going to be 31 days, but we did it in 30 days. It recorded yesterday, which so that's really good. So that was a big win because it was stressful, and in between that, I had to have the whole pool redone. So we had to actually have work done. That was the most stressful. So I take this house down, right? We close within like 12 days of contract. And then I'm like, I need to have the pool done to even get the mortgage. And I'm like, I don't even know if someone's going to be like, oh, yeah, we're 4 months out.
Yeah.
To get this pool done. Do you know what I mean? But it worked out. I closed on the Monday. They started work on the Tuesday. So within about 10 days, the pool was done. So we had it appraised and then got back into closing. And we managed to get everything done within 30 days.
Nice, man. That's impressive. So, Gavin, you got a lake house, and you got a place out in Phoenix.
Yeah, and I'm done for now because they need rehabbing. They need work. They need work. You know? But yeah, I'm set for now.
I'm gonna have to come with that Airbnb out in Phoenix. So, are you guys? Is that the next step? You guys are gonna Airbnb it?
Yeah, so we head out. Something else that happened yesterday. I had to cancel, unfortunately, my England trip. So I should have been leaving to England on the 27th until the 8th. I've not been home in 2.5 years, but now they're going back on lockdown, it looks like.
Man,
so it was too risky. Yeah, they're going back on. They haven't announced it, but it's like very high that it'll be locked down on 27th. Yeah, the day I was flying. So again, if I get the virus and I get stuck there, it just weighed out that it was going to be a nightmare. So we cancelled that. So I actually head out to Phoenix next week to get some work done on the house and get it furnished and ready and kind of go from there. Yeah.
Sorry to hear that you had to cancel that trip, man. That's not fun.
I mean, it's out of your control, though. You know, I mean,
like every time we get to the point where where COVID's like done and it's like we're moving on, it's like nope, not yet.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So that was not good, but it is what it is. You know, you roll with the punches. You know, so We will be heading out to Phoenix though next week and start that, and then we go straight from Phoenix. We'll go to Michigan to then work on that one and try and just. It's going to be rehab crazy for probably 6-7 months.
Rehabbing it?
Yeah, both. Yeah. Well, this one's going to be Phoenix is going to be a light rehab, like a wall out, just a couple of things. But Phoenix, the Michigan house is going to be a full gut. Yeah.
Oh, the Michigan one. Yeah,
the Michigan
you got
house.
a lot going on right now.
But my wife, to be fair, she runs all that, so I'm not stressing about it.
Still, though, man, you're involved.
Yeah, I am. But she does a good job. Like we have a rule. She runs it. So that's good, and she's fiery, so she can handle that.
Don, what you got working on, man? I know you're closing deals. How many rehabs you got in progress right now?
We got a handful of rehabs in progress right now. We put 6 properties under contract last week. We are shifting our focus to, I've mentioned several times, Airbnb. So I create, I'm a crazy, wild, hairy goal guy. So I decided, and I'm going to put this out there because I want the public to hold me to this, and I'm mapping it out right now, but I want to net $1 million in the next 90 days.
In the next win?
90 days. You're all laughing. You just laughed.
No. He was just double checking that you said what you said.
Yeah, exactly. I'm laughing because I wasn't sure I heard you right, and then I heard you right, and I was like, "That's a big audacious goal."
That's a big audacious
goal.
Tell me
more.
I want to net $1 million in 90 days. So we're. We've been transactional for a long time, and we talk about this. When you get, usually when you start, I started in rehabbing. Most people will start as a wholesaler, and then they'll progress to rehabbing, and then they'll get into buy and hold, and maybe they'll move up into apartment communities or storage units or different things like that. And I've stayed transactional, I think, a lot longer than most people in this business because I was really good at it. And essentially, I created a cash flowing business operation that I didn't have to be involved in for a number of years. And just looking at I'm 48 years old, where my life is going, what I want to do. And I like setting goals. I need a challenge. I don't necessarily want to be the guy who has, 150 cash flowing properties and goes sits on the beach. But at the same time, I don't want to stay in the transactional stuff forever. So I just decided it's time.
You want to be the guy that has 150 cash flowing properties, just not on the beach.
Well, yeah, but I'm just so the moral of the story is every time I set a goal, I either achieve that goal or come really close to it. Once I put my mind to do something, I either do it or I come really close to it. It's something about that self-talk. If you tell yourself you're going to fail, you're going to fail. If you tell yourself you're going to win, you're going to win.
Yeah. So if you're going to set a goal 10x it, you're going to be 70% farther than you would if you didn't.
100%. So I was having a conversation with my team the other day, and I'm like, we have to think bigger. Like, I want to net $1 million. I don't want $1 million in revenue. I want to gross $1 million. I want to net $1 million in the next 90 days. So what do we have to do to achieve that? How do we have to look at things? What do we have to go after? What do we have to do to achieve that? So that's what we're basically whiteboarding out right now. We're mapping out, how do we achieve that $1 million in the next 90 days? So
what gross do you think you've got to do for that?
That is a fantastic question, and I don't know yet. And that's part of what are we going to tackle? And so literally this is something that we just talked about a couple of days ago. And I looked at, so I'm running 2 businesses right now. We all know I do coaching and mentoring and have a mastermind, and I have the real estate investing business. So just to be clear, between both businesses, I want to net $1 million in the next 90 days. It doesn't have to be just one of them. So,
oh yes, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
So we're looking at okay, if I was going to do it in just this business, what do I have to accomplish? And if I was going to do it in just this business, how would I go about it? And that's what we're doing right now. So I'm literally mapping it out this week, looking at how much do we have to gross, what projects we have to tackle, what are the obstacles we're going to have to overcome to do that? Essentially, obviously in real estate, we have to think bigger. We're looking at storage units, apartment complexes, commercial. Obviously, it'll be finding a huge project and wholesale in it. Is that even given? Am I capable of doing that in 90 days? That's how we're looking at this. So we're mapping out. I'm a whiteboarder. So we're mapping it out. And yeah, so I expect you two to hold me accountable. And
we'll be asking you every week.
Ask me every week where I'm at.
Yeah, exactly.
So because this is an important goal. I want to document this and show people that when you put your mind to doing something, it can be done. And I'm going to do it in things that I haven't necessarily tackled before. I've done some of these, I've done storage units like that at a smaller level, but I've never tackled them on the level that I want to tackle it in the next 90 days. So this is where I'm at. This is where my head's at. I hope that you guys hold me accountable, like I said, and I look forward to coming back with a big win in 90 days.
That's awesome. And I hope you do it. And I'm sure you will. Absolutely. I mean, if there's anyone that's going to add back, it'd be you. So let's go. Let's make it happen.
Don, I love it, man. Damn.
Yeah. So
that's great.
There's going to be a lot of coffee and a lot of closing.
That's it.
That's right. That's
great. That's cool.
Yeah, that's a big audacious goal, my friend. I like that. Oh,
I mean, if you're gonna get real, right? I mean, let's quit playing small. I mean, seriously, let's get real.
Yeah, we just had. It's funny. I just had the same conversation about thinking bigger. Because sometimes we just think too small. Like you got to go big. And like you said, and if you can get 80% there, you've probably 10x what your original plan was. And that's 100%. What it's all about. So it makes sense. And I think, trying to train the mind, trick the mind into thinking different things, to think bigger and setting these things up is absolutely critical. Because it gets your whole team then. So they're not going, how do we net 200 grand in 90 days? You've said 1 million, so they're going 1 million. So now because they're aiming at that, they may come in at 600 grand and it was 400 grand more than what the original plan was.
Maybe they come in at 200 grand and it's still 4x what they normally do, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Setting these high goals, it's not necessarily, it doesn't matter. It's the 10x philosophy.
Let's talk about that because we're coming up at the end of the year. Everybody's doing their New Year's resolution. They're making their plans. And, I was having a conversation with somebody just recently and they said, I want to do X in the next so many days. And I said, well, why not, do 2 or 3 times that, set your goal higher. And they said, well, we have to set achievable goals. And I want to be very clear. Like I've never won by setting achievable goals. I've never won by setting achievable goals. It's something you look, the reality is we pretty much always fall short. We always do. If you set a goal, you almost always fall short. It's just that life gets in the way, things happen. So why not set, an impossible goal? Because like you said, if you fall short, you do half of it, it's probably 10x what you're expecting to do anyway. So, and I've always been that way. I've just always set a bigger goal than what was necessary. And I've always done really, really well doing that. It's something about having a target to fight for, I
want to expand on that just really quickly.
Yeah.
I know why people say, and there's a lot of books and coaching programs and people that are saying set achievable goals, right?
Right.
Because a lot of people, they need to have felt like they've accomplished. You don't necessarily feel accomplished when you set a goal and you don't get that goal, right? You don't achieve it, right? But at the same time, entrepreneurs like the three of us, we're not going to be turned off if we don't hit a goal. But a lot of people, they do. And I think that there's a big difference right there in just the mindset.
Well, I guess you got to know who you are, right?
Entrepreneurial spirit versus somebody that doesn't.
Right. You got to know who you are.
I love it. I agree. I always set goals that I can't achieve. Because if I get 60% of the way there, it's 10x what I would have done in the first place.
So know who you are, know where you stand, know where your foundation is as an individual. Like there are people who have to have a job and security to get going because they really need that security. And until they do enough deals to replace that income, they're not going to quit. And then there are people that have to burn the boats. Right.
Yeah. Right.
And so you got to know who you are. You got to know what motivates you. You got to know what demotivates you. I have to have something to fight for. I have to have a big, hairy, audacious goal. One of the things that I do is I'll find a competitor in something that I want, and I will put a target on their back, and my entire purpose is to beat them. And it's always the same way. One day I'll look up and I'll be like, man, I beat them 6 months ago and didn't even realize it. So
who's some of the people that you're trying to beat at this point? And I get it. You probably got a couple. Maybe you don't.
Right
now you're in the searching mode.
I'm in the mapping it out. I'm in the goal setting mode. Like literally as we speak, I got a whiteboard in front of me where I've mapped some things out. I'm going to be mapping some things out this week. Like I said, we're going to be putting some things into action next week. I'm not taking next week off. We're going to be putting some things into action next week. And we're going to hit the first of the year with the ground running. When we were in Austin for our 3-day immersion, there was a buddy of mine there, and him and I made a goal that we both shoot for 4 million gross, and whoever wins, obviously we have a bet for whoever wins. And then I came back and I'm like, why 4 million gross? Why not do $1 million in 90 days? So, net. So that's where my head's at. I'm mapping it out. So I guess next time we talk, I'll be able to answer some of these questions on what my plan is, who I want to beat, and we'll go from there. So literally, I'm talking about this in the infancy stages, and I'm doing it because accountability, I think, is huge. If you don't surround yourself
out there, then now you have to run with it. If you keep
right. And you got to surround yourself with people. That's why masterminds and coaching programs and mentoring is so important in this business, because you got to surround yourself with people who are going to hold you accountable and call you out. So I'm practicing what I preach, call me out, guys.
I think as well, though, it's important to understand that you're putting a plan together to be able to execute, right? You're not going at this just like going into the new year going, well, I'm just going to do $1 million net with zero plan. And that's why you can't answer these questions that we're asking you, because again, the plan isn't there yet, because you have to have that plan to be able to execute, to give you the best chance of obviously hitting that goal. And I think and people need to understand that for their businesses as well. Whatever their goals are for next year is to come up with that plan so they can actually go, okay, here is the plan. You've actually put the effort into putting that down, and now you can, execute on that and make it a reality.
100%. So I know that I have to think bigger. Like I know it's storage unit, apartment complexes, commercial, and maybe something else in the real estate side of things we have to tackle. I've already got a list for one of those. It's like I spoke it into existence, and then a buddy called me and said, "Hey, blah blah blah." We had a conversation. He goes, "Oh, by the way, I got a list. I'll send it over to you." I mean, it's again, it's funny. You speak this into love the dog, man. You speak this into existence, and literally you start to recognize the pieces fall into place. So I said something to my team the other day, 2 days ago, 3 days ago. And then the day before I said, I'm going to make a plan. And then yesterday I got a phone call from a buddy, some conversations we've had a few months ago. And he said, I'll go ahead and forward you a list. I mean, literally it's like the pieces are already starting to fall into place and the plan hasn't even come to fruition yet. So that's on the real estate side. On the education side, obviously, the more you help people achieve their goals, the more successful you're going to be. So we're putting some things in place to help as many people as we can achieve their goals, make their dreams come true, and we'll be tackling opportunities there as well.
Love it.
Love it.
That's amazing. Very good.
So
what happened to your big TV, man? Different location?
That's in a different location. Yeah, I'm in my conference room right now.
What about you, Dave? What have you got going on?
Woo, man. We refied 3 properties last week. We got 3 rehabs going right now. 2 of them should be getting 2 of them are about a week or 2 out before we can list them. So that's nice. And our wholesale business has slowed down quite a bit. We got 2 deals right now that we're working on, getting to closing in the next, actually probably have 4, but we have 2 coming in the next week. And then we got 2 more that are a week or 2 out. So our wholesale business has slowed down quite a bit.
Why would you say that?
Though, we're cherry picking a lot of deals though, to fix and flip or to add to rentals. And in fact, we got, I would say, every bit of 10, if not 12 rentals somewhere through the BRRRR process right now. After we do these 3 refis. So I mean, really, I'm in the lead gen business. I'm not in the wholesale business. Let's be honest, right? I'm in the lead gen business. I'm in the business of trying to build my net worth and my wealth so I can keep my financial freedom and grow it, So when leads come in, we keep the best and we wholesale the rest. It's such a great little saying, and I encourage everybody to have that kind of mindset versus just have a business for leads to wholesale, because it's just transactional, Don. Like you said, it's very transactional. I've been at this full time for 7 years, been in the business for 17. And luckily I started the business 17 years ago with the long-term mindset. So at 7 years ago, when I started full time, for whatever reason, I decided transactional is the way to go. And I kind of followed that road for 3 to 4 years before I realized that, man, it's great, puts money in my pocket, but it creates, it's like, to me, it's like, you're on the transaction treadmill or the hamster wheel. But for whatever reason, it's hard to be on that and not go fast, right? Like being in the transaction business, doing 1 or 2 transactions, A, it may not be enough to live on, and B, it's not very fun.
It's not consistent.
It's better to have 5 or 7 or 10 of them going, right?
You to have consistency in your income, you have to go fast.
You have to go fast. So all of a sudden what happens though is, like you said a minute ago, you look up and you're like, I beat them 6 months ago. Well, it's the same thing. You look up and you're sprinting on this treadmill. You're no longer just walking on it. You're sprinting and you're out of breath. And it's like, woof, what am I doing to myself? You know,
Right.
So just bringing people back. And I love that goal, Don. That's a crazy, audacious goal. I love it. So I'm assuming though that you're saying $1 million net isn't just cash, because that could be equity. It could be, it could be anything, right?
Bro, I want $1 million net,
like
cash,
pulled out of the deal,
like money in the bank.
Holy cow!
That's my goal.
That's a net right
in 90 days.
Woo.
It's not impossible. Come on, seriously, it's not. No,
not at all.
You know, so how do we do it? You know, and that's I got to crack that. Like, what do I have to get up and do and be purposeful about every single day to make that happen? You know, how many times do I have to go live? How many podcasts do I have to do? You know, what do I, to put the word out there? Like, how many people do I have to talk to? How many conversations do I personally have to have? Do my team personally have to have? Like, we're going to map that out and we're going to be purposeful about it every day. $1 million net. Like, I want to walk with $1 million in the bank in 90 days.
Let me know how I can help.
I for sure will, bro.
Send me anything you need me to do and help you with.
I appreciate it.
I want to be a part of this goal.
Right.
All right.
This is a cool goal.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, man.
So,
that's awesome.
I'm gonna put it out there.
Lots of wins on this side too, guys. Right. Feeling good. Business is doing great. We're in the process of kind of ramping up our marketing efforts and eventually starting to do a nationwide approach with wholesaling and Novation. But I don't want to rush it. There was a couple different people that I was going to hire recently, and it didn't work out. So, I don't want to be quick to just hire somebody that's not going to be a good fit. So I'm looking for a couple people right now that could be key players, in the organization. But all in all, our focus is lead gen, keep the best, wholesale the rest.
Let's you mentioned Novation, and I don't know that I understand Novation. So let's kind of give a high level synopsis of what that. The way I understand it is essentially you're getting permission to control the property and essentially list it.
You're getting permission to make decisions on behalf of a seller.
Okay.
The only caveat is they ultimately have to be the one to sign the HUD. So you have to build a really, really good relationship with them. So let's not look at it as the investor point of view for a minute. Let's just look at the actual agreement and the idea of why it was even created in the first place, right? So you have a family who moves to Florida. They have a vacation home, for example. They move to Florida full time, and they still have this home back home, wherever it's at, Indiana, let's just say. And one of the kids doesn't move down. They stay in this home. And the parents say, hey, we want to sell the home, but we're here. So like, can you help us and handle it for us? Essentially that would be in a scenario where you act on behalf of the seller to do all the work, right? And then when it comes time to sell, they just sign the paperwork. So it's the same difference, except for I'm not the son or the daughter living in that home. I'm just a third party that helps somebody. So you gotta look at it.
So what happens if you do all the work and the seller refuses to sign?
Then the deal doesn't go through. And that's why you have to have very, very good skills in communication with them. So what you do though, as the third party, is you zero the HUD out. So you agree on a price with them. You give them a wholesale price. They don't like it. You basically then tell them a price that's higher than that, but still below market value. And you make the spread. Just like wholesaling, you buy great, you sell good. Well, with Novation, you still have to get a good deal, right? But you don't have to have a great deal because you're not going up against deals. You're going up against retail. So a good deal versus retail is still a deal, whereas you need a great versus good in the wholesale. You guys get that, right?
Right.
Yeah, but also you can negotiate the seller's going to get 130.
Yeah, so you're going to tie up the property
above.
with notice of interest right away. You're going to send a contract to purchase it at that price. You have that, a notice of interest and or a list pendants, or you can file your contract on the deed. There's so many different ways to tie this property up from people, right? So getting
but I'm talking about the
can
profit.
happen. It can, right? But here's the thing that you gotta think. When you're approaching these people, you have to let them know that you're the authority, you're the expert, and how you position it. And here's the thing: I am not the expert at this. I am learning from Corey Geary, friend of mine. I hired him. I'm in his coaching program to help me launch this and learn it. So he's the expert. But the way that I've seen it work really, really well is that you present this as a white glove service, right? So again, you have to find a seller that's somewhat motivated. They may just not be motivated on price per se, or else you could just send them a contract and call it a day. You have to offer them a little bit more than what you'd be willing to pay, but you're using the retail space as your buyer pool. You're offering the white glove service. So essentially you're coming in and you're saying, I'll handle everything. Here's the price that I think I can get you. It's kind of, in a way, the way you think of it, it's kind of like a net listing, but it's not at all, because you're not an agent in this transaction. You go hire an agent, but you net the HUD out. That's your fee. So the fee isn't necessarily projected from the beginning. It's how well are you going to be able to do in the retail market. So then what you do is you hire the agent, you manage the agent. When the buyer comes in and they want inspections, you manage that process. And if there's inspection repairs, sometimes you have to put the money up to do the fixes. Again, this is a white glove service. If there's a discount that you offer in terms of seller concessions, then you just offer the discount. It works itself out. But in some cases, depending on the loan, it could be a VA, it could be FHA. They say, we aren't letting our buyer buy this without a new HVAC. You might have to invest into the deal. Again, you're handling the agent, you're handling the inspections, and then you handle the appraisal. And typically the agent will do a lot of that for you as well. And then once it's ready to go and there's a $18,000, $28,000, $36,000 difference from the payoffs and what you agreed to pay the seller from the retail price, you net that out as a fee, and then they sign the HUD. So again, you have to be very, very, very good at convincing them that you can do it, and you have to have a really good relationship and follow up with them, and then also manage and run the entire process. It's not for everybody. It's going to require. Go ahead.
I'll just say Adam here, just to kind of throw us a little bit of opinion in here. Adam said, I heard of Novation 2 years ago, and especially since it's all popular right now, I highly do not recommend it. Stick to the basics right now. And they went on to say, when I asked about the seller backing out, he said, bingo dong, just hit the nail on the head on why Novation is dumb. Can you imagine explaining that to a judge with a lawsuit? Good luck. So I want to throw those in there because I want to make sure both opinions are there. And there's with I think with every new strategy, there's going to be some upside and some downside.
Oh, yeah. And we're not trying to do this with people that we think have any type of concern doing that. Right. I mean, essentially, we are doing a lead generation business to find wholesale deals because it's easy. Right. But when there's a great scenario that presents itself where somebody has a property that's in really good condition and it's still discounted, just not like I have zero desire to go put 25 grand into a property in a foreign market. But if it's a $2,000 or $3,000 or $5,000 play to make 30, totally cool with that. But again, there has to be an amazing relationship. What those points were just made, all of the above, great points. And I don't argue with any of them. Right. You're not going to win that lawsuit. You can't control the seller. Trust me, lots of reasons.
Well, this also came about as well from a nationwide model that you can't find cash buyers quick enough, or they're in really remote markets. And I think this is where, and again, I don't want to speak for Corey, but I believe this is where that transition was happening, is because they were spending so much time on dispoing and trying to find cash buyers that it was just eating time. So then they went to the Novation because then they could use the MLS and the realtors and things like that to get more eyeballs on it and get the seller more money. And therefore, from when you offer a low price of a wholesale deal, you can come up on that, which then gets the seller on board because all of a sudden we just gave you a cash offer for X and now we can do it for this, which gets them more money, which then in the sales and the negotiations gives them the ability to lock that up.
Yeah, exactly. So we had a scenario approach us just maybe a week or two ago, and we're still working the lead here, but it's a deal that's maybe 15-minute drive from my office. It's here locally in my town. And we made an offer on it, and it doesn't make sense to the seller to take our offer. Like I don't even think they can take our offer. I think they owe more than that. But with the market being really hot right now, we presented to them, hey, do you want us to list it? And they were just like, that's so much work. So then we were like, well, hey, we have this white glove service that we can offer you where we'll handle all of it. And they were like, okay, now you got my attention. So we're doing one right now. We're in the process of doing one locally. So again, it's not something that we're going to lead with, but there's lots of scenarios where like that's the convenience. It's not just, saying quick cash as is. That's the three conveniences that investors have, guys. That makes up 80%. There's hundreds of ways to make somebody's life convenient. But typically in our business, cash, quick as is. That's what people want. Well, sometimes it's not those things. It's just a little bit more money because the cash, the quick, the as is less than what they owe. So there's always going to be scenarios, just like there's opportunities for people to do sub two, and different types of creative financing. Like I'm not a big sub two guy. I know there's a ton of risk there. And you got people that say, well, it's made me millions of dollars. Other people will say, well, what if? It's how much risk are you willing to take? So yes, you can get through a process and invest and all this type of stuff and somebody tells you no. There's also opportunities for people that just say, I don't want to deal with this. Help.
Matt made a comment here. So Novation sounds like it works well in a hot market that's continually rising, which I think has a whole lot of truth. It's just like, wholesaling is a great strategy in the right market and is not a great strategy in the wrong market. Rehabbing is a great strategy in some of the hotter markets. Wholesaling doesn't work as well in certain downturns.
Yeah.
And whatnot. So
here's another look at it too. I don't disagree with that, but one of the things that we do in our local St. Louis MLS is we list a lot of our wholesale deals owner by contract, right? So it's really not that much different. It's just we can't do that in other markets. I can't go in and list a property owner by contract because I don't have the MLS rights and access to that. When we do that and we list it owner by contract, 50 to 60% of the time, there'll be an agent that will want to go through the entire brokerage process. Other times, agents will work out their fees with their buyers, and then we'll just take it straight to the title company, and then mark it as closed or sold on the MLS, right? So right. It's just another marketing tool. That's really all it is. So anytime that we do that, we're still going to be pushing out marketing to any of the local buyers in that area to say, here's where we're at, here's what we want. Make an offer. We're just trying to help the seller. So I love it. I love all of the different perspectives because you got to be smart about this. This isn't something that you do on every deal, but it's a tool to have in your belt. That's the point.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. It's a tool to have in your belt. I wouldn't put all my eggs in that basket. I wouldn't put all my eggs in any basket.
No,
so
not at all.
It's a great tool to have in your belt.
Absolutely. And it's just kind of fun to be able to help people, out in some of the markets that are a little bit more rural. Because that's going to be a good tool for that type of a situation too. Because right now, whenever we get a lead that's out in the rural, we're just like, here's 50, 60% of what we think the thing's worth, take it or leave it. And, 95% of the time, they can't take that offer.
I still think though, that there's like for me, I don't think it's necessary to go and learn all these different strategies, right? It's just about building your network and having the right people. Does that make sense? Like that's what I'm probably big at, and that's probably one of the things that I do well. Is I'm not going to do a sub 2, but I know the people that will do sub 2 where I'll still get paid,
right? And
I don't have to do anything else other than here's a sub 2 deal, look at it, and then hand it off, and then I'll be paid something as and when it's done, right?
Yeah, call me when you have those, by the way.
Yeah, well, exactly. But that's my model, right? Because again, you have to stay in your lane of what you're doing and stay to your vision. And I found with these creative deals and these novations, like for me to try and do that with my team, for instance, it would be having to keep getting involved, and it would drive me insane. So I'm like, I'm just going to go and take it to someone that already knows it, that can probably do it faster, better, quicker. using their time and resources, and then we can still make money as well. That makes more sense in my head.
Well, let's hit on that, because we're talking about being closers, right? And one of the most difficult thing as you're trying to build a company is hiring acquisitions people. Even as an individual that knows this business, I can say it's hard to wear 5 hats.
Oh my God, it's so hard.
Yeah. And I don't mean in different positions like transaction coordination, acquisition, disposition. I mean, like, when you're looking and evaluating deals, I mean, it's hard to look at it from 5 different ways. Like, is this a novation? Is this a sub 2? Is this a cash deal? Like, you really get tunnel vision, and you really should kind of have tunnel vision in a lot of ways, and focus on what you're good at, because otherwise, I mean, they always say jack of all trades isn't good at any one thing at all. And that's true when you're trying to, like Dave, I think you said that perfectly. Like, this is our offer, why don't you list it? Okay, well, we have white glove service. That's not so bad. But when you go, oh, okay, I can make you a cash offer, or I can
no, guys, we are so
owner carry.
We're going to be telling we're already doing that.
Right.
Yeah. Listen, the people that said those comments, I agree with them. 100%. I am not trying to be the contrarian. There's a time and a place for every tool in our belt.
Right.
And in some scenarios where we will never be like, oh, here's our offer, and then they're going to see their property on Zillow next week. Like, we're telling them we're going to hire an agent for you.
Well, what I mean is
inspections for you.
What I mean is, if you unload,
expect out of you at the end is so on and so forth. 100%.
When you unload a whole bunch of options on a seller, you're going to confuse them, number one. But also trying to evaluate a deal 5 different ways. I mean, even for somebody that's extremely experienced, you can confuse yourself and you can overlook things. You can make mistakes. So that was the only point I was trying to make is early on. Somebody said stick to the basics, and I think we all agree. Gavin kind of has his what works and what doesn't. He hands off, and I think that's just an important thing to hit home. Is so many people are watching so many different of these activities out there, these options out there to buy properties, and they're trying to grasp on all of them, and you're going to make it a mess. You're going to make it a mess, and that's the point I want to kind of find a few basic things you're good at, have a few tools in your tool belt and stick to the basics.
My core focus is buying rentals in this market. So anything that we do on that lines is people that we bring on the team.
Right.
Yeah, you can only wear a couple hats, guys. I get that completely. So I have somebody advantage in that division of my business. I'm not going to be actively involved in that, but maybe for an hour or 2 a day, at most. Yeah. Most of what I'm doing is looking for rentals in my market, Absolutely. That's
and something like a novation of what we talked about and the communication, and there's so much that goes into it in that communication between multiple parties. And when you look at all the jobs to get this deal done, and then what you can make, and then you look at the net and you do all this, and I'm like, I could have all of that time back and get a part of it and a split of it. Sign me up. Let's go.
Oh, absolutely.
Done. You're going to run all that. You're going to do all that, and you're going to pay me. And I've literally got it teed up for you, ready to go. Sign me up. Like all day. I do them all day long. No problem.
So Matt chimed in here and said, so you mean have an acquisitions guy who can present the correct opportunity and strategy to the seller? No, Matt, what I mean is, like, we have an acquisitions person. We teach them our formulas for making offers, our buy boxes for making offers for a rehab, where we need to be if we're going to wholesale it. And then when I've tried to introduce, like, okay, well, we can sub to it, or we can owner carry, or we can do this, or we can do like I confuse my people.
Yeah.
You got to understand, like, people that aren't, us, they don't look at the world the same way. I mean, we're hungry. We're going to figure things out. We're going to stretch ourselves out of our comfort zone to learn something or try something or sell something. When you have a team, they just want to know how that, tell me how to win, coach. That's it. Give me the 2 or 3 plays that I need to run to get to the field goal. And when you start to put 5 different strategies on your acquisitions team's plate, you're going to confuse them. They're going to need you to come in, like Gavin said, they're going to need you to come in and advise them or answer questions or give feedback or talk to the seller. And it's going to involve you a lot more. And what's going to inadvertently happen is mistakes are going to be made. So, there's guys out there that teach sub 2, and basically all they do is sub 2 and maybe 1 or 2 other things as their strategy. There's guys that they make cash offers or rehabbers, and that's all they do, and maybe 1 or 2 other strategies. My thing is, don't teach 5 or 6 strategies to your team, because you're going to confuse them. You're going to confuse the seller, and you're going to be involved in holding hands.
And there's not many people in our industry that I know of, maybe you guys do, that have acquisition, not business partners, not equity partners.
Right.
Acquisition. that do creative finance, period.
Right.
There's not many that I know,
No.
if any, that can do it. So I'm not talking about me, the negotiator, or you, Don, or your business partner, Mike, doing it. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking a true acquisition, making 10, 12%, whatever, that can actually negotiate creative deals. I don't know many, if any, that have it, because it is the hardest position to fill by an absolute mile.
Not only that, it's the hardest type of deal to manage.
For sure.
Like you're dealing with a lot of different paperwork to basically get access to something that wasn't yours, and now it is becoming yours, or the responsibility is. But like if you're doing like a sub 2 or something like that, it's a lot. Totally.
So Linda here says, I'm a newbie learning the basics and slow. I want to avoid
lease options.
Huh?
Sandwich lease option. Yeah.
Oh, I want to avoid getting distracted by too many shiny objects, multiple ways to do different deals. Nice to hear. So yeah, Linda, I mean, the point is, look, if you think creative financing is sexy and that excites you, that's the direction you should go. If you think innovations is sexy and excites you, I would say it's probably not as good in cooler markets, but go that way. If you just want to be straightforward and be a wholesaler or rehabber, find what excites you, because what you're passionate about, you're going to invest in and you're going to become good at. And that's really where you should focus your energy. Trying to do 5, 6 different things all at once. I mean, I'm distracted by 2 different businesses right now, and I can tell you it weighs on each one of them.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I'm with you. I'm in that book. I'm in the same bucket. So you're not there. You're not alone.
Right. So, and when you try to distract your team by 5 different strategies, and it's not a good recipe for long-term success.
I've never had success using a multiple offer contract. I tried doing it for a few months, years and years ago, where you give somebody, here's my cash offer, the lowest offer, and here's offer 2, where you finance it to me, at this rate, and here's offer 3, where I give you a little bit of money and you finance the rest of me, and then here's the lease option or subject to price.
The only time
it confuses people.
And I would say, instead of making multiple offers, it needs to be it's almost like pairing offers is how I would say it, meaning that your best offer will look the best on the paper and the other one's there to show that offer's the best. So for instance, if the owner of finance is going to be the most amount of money with the best terms, you put the cash offer on there because it looks on the amount that the owner of finance is way more money than the cash. So it helps position that final offer better. But yes, if it's not 20 motivated seller, then it can be, confusing. But I look at it as well for talking points sometimes, because it's just something to follow up on and have a conversation about on the follow-up. But you're right, 100%.
Yeah, because I like to just go with one offer. Here's the offer. And then now we have this, okay, if that offer doesn't work for you, we'll list it locally, or we'll find somebody to list it in your own market via the novation, or you can always just use a referral agreement to a local agent and connect the dots for people, right? But that's the approach. Adding in the novation, I don't think is going to necessarily be that more difficult, because we're not leading with it. We're looking for the right people that are looking for convenience.
But also, you're the one having that conversation, right? You or Mike?
No. Well, no. We have 2 people that are on the phones dealing or working with leads, and I'm looking for one more that I can decide.
No, but with that novation, you're the one that's doing the novation.
No,
you're the one talking to the seller about the novation being an option, or is
somebody on my team does that.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, my focus is on building my rental portfolio, but I like having these tools in my.
Surely you've got to be. Who's teaching them?
Me. Yeah, I'm teaching them. Yeah. And then they're joining the calls with the group too. So it's you know what I'm saying? They're getting it from multiple angles. Absolutely. Yeah. What does Linda say? Don, I like your goal of manifesting 1 million net. You can do it. How can I reach you once I come across a deal that might help both of us?
So you are in SLO. I'm assuming that's San Luis Obispo, because that's usually SLO. That's how we refer to San Luis.
No, I think she was referring to sandwich lease.
I know Linda. Yeah, I know Linda.
Is it San Luis? Okay. Then there we go. I guess so. Basics of SLO. Okay, never mind. I read that wrong. Okay, well, Linda, just whenever you come across the deal, reach out to me. We do stuff nationally. I know Dave's trying to do stuff nationally. Gavin does stuff, I think, nationally. So actually, you can probably reach out to the three of us. Maybe we'll partner on something. So, yeah, if you have anything,
right. Call me, Linda. Call me, and then I'll reach out to Don, and I'll get a cut.
So my email, Linda, is don@fliptalk.com. Don@fliptalk.com. I'll put that out there. And if you want to help me, I would look forward to having you do that. And of course, she corrected me and said, where's it at? Okay, sorry.
No
honestly, all right.
That can also
fair.
double as a sandwich lease option.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. But let's go. So.
When someone puts slow, I think San Luis Obispo, which is a very, very cool spot to hang out in California. It's not too far from Pismo Beach. Yeah. So
that's funny.
Nice. Well,
I want to say as well, like,
great.
Yeah.
Huh?
I said everybody's doing great. It sounds like Don, you're making us all look bad with your crazy big goal, man. I love it. Guys, I do want to point out that we do have a simple landing page, Coffee with Closers Live. Check it out. We give away a free wholesale contract, an assignment agreement, a joint venture agreement, even a seller lead sheet. So if you are new to the game and you're looking for a place to just stay organized, the seller lead sheet is just filled with questions that you can ask when you're on the phone with the seller. So in the beginning, you may not know what to do or to say. And really, that lead sheet is going to help you get as much information about the property that you're going to need to make an informed decision, as well as the information you're going to need to present it and market it to your network of investor partners and buyers. We also have some free trials, batch leads, batch driven, REI Black Book, and of course, Be in This Room, Don's Mastermind. And then last but not least, guys, virtual assistants. The virtual assistants are through Riva. I just hired a new Riva virtual assistant yesterday, and they're amazing people to work with. Several layers of management. They're a full-blown agency. They keep track of the VAs and make sure that they are giving you as much productivity as possible. And they also pay them well and give them health insurance. So these are people that are going to be on the team for the long haul. They're not just people that you want to hire for, 2-3 months. I mean, look at actually filling positions in your team. Could be a lead manager, could be an acquisition person, could be a disposition person, could be anything and everything, could be an admin person. But they're people that you can add to the team. They're going to be good team players. So again, check it out, coffeewithcloserslive.com.
Awesome.
we're doing next week, right? We are. We talked about whether or not we're taking next week off, but we're going to do next Wednesday. We're not going to skip a Wednesday, right?
No, we're not.
Yeah.
Okay.
I might be in the RV. I might be driving the RV, but I can pull over, make it happen.
Okay. So make sure, look, every week, guys and gals, we do this, and I want to hammer that in. Dave's mentioned a few things we have to offer. We do this. We want to make sure that you're getting value from it. We're not going to miss a week. There's 3 of us, and it's worked out really well because if I'm on a plane, then it's still being done. If Gavin's on a plane, it's still being done, and so on and so forth. So, but make sure you're tuning in. Make sure you're sharing it with everybody. There is a podcast out there on iTunes, right, Dave?
There is. There's a podcast with this, guys.
Yeah. So the recording out there as well. But every time you come and view, make sure you hit the like buttons and the heart buttons. And every time that you share it, we help grow our audience. And we always want to do that because we are doing this to impact lives, as many lives as we can.
That's right, guys. And there's not going to be another episode before Christmas. It's the 22nd already. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas. And
we'll
get it in before the new year, which will be nice. But
yeah.
Not for Christmas. So yeah, that's awesome, guys. Very cool. Anybody got any cool Christmas plans?
I'm chilling.
Mine's just changed. I was going to England. So no, not anymore.
I bought a Blackstone griddle
nice.
when I moved into my new house, and I haven't used it yet. And every Christmas morning, I make breakfast. I make a big breakfast for Christmas, and I have family come over and stuff like that. So I'm actually going to utilize that. I just seasoned it the other day. And so I'm going to make a nice restaurant quality, I hope, breakfast on the Blackstone griddle for Christmas.
Awesome.
And then it's just a chill day from there. So, but hopefully I can get restaurant quality hash browns off of that thing because you can't get them in a pan.
Yeah.
So, we'll see.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good job. Send us a picture. I want a picture done. See how good. I'll give you a one through 10.
Yeah. So
that's awesome. Well, guys, let's wrap it up. I love Don's goal, guys. Set big goals. Write them down. Put them in places that you're going to see them. And then remember, guys, a goal without a plan is a dream. So once you set these big goals, you got to put a plan together and start executing on that plan. Don, we're here to hold your ass accountable about that plan.
Looking forward to it.
Very cool goal. Let's see the plan.
I'm gonna be able to answer some questions by next Wednesday. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button.
Merry Christmas.